welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we show you an entire installation of a bypass humidifier. My dad walks us through it and explains exactly what's going on with each step. So if you want weekly money-saving tips for your heating and air conditioning system, please subscribe and keep watching.
Well, obviously they have a humidifier now. We're taking the old one off. That's the humidistat that senses the humidity of the air in the return air drop, and it senses that as it's drawing all the air out of the house. And so he's mounting the body of the humidifier on the return air drop. We call that the return air drop. And if you want to visualize it, the air is moving down that duct from up above to down where the furnace filter is. And he's cutting an opening there where he's then going to cover it with the new humidifier. So this humidifier, the type of humidifier is called a bypass humidifier. So it's a rather simple design. It actually uses, you can see he's checking the level there. I'll explain why that's very critical. But this is a bypass humidifier, meaning it uses the furnace blower to bypass air through the humidifier. So this humidifier doesn't have a fan or anything like that. It uses the air movement of the furnace to move air through the humidifier. Now I put that, you wanted to be sure to mount that level there because we're actually going to be dribbling water into that humidifier, into a tray across the top of the humidifier, and you'll see it as we put it in. But if it's not level, it's not going to distribute the moisture, the water properly down through the pad of the humidifier. So we're prepping wires here. This is where sometimes it's good to work on something that's 2 steps ahead of you while you've got it all exposed. But he's basically pulling new wiring from the humidistat that he's already mounted up above and down to the furnace, back up to the humidifier. That's the flue to the water heater going across the top there. You have to be kind of concerned about that. That pipe will be hot. It'll be physically hot whenever that hot water heater is firing. So you kind of have to be mindful of wiring around something like that. So now he's wired the humidistat. That's the control up above the humidifier, and he's pulled the wires down into the humidifier. And now he's opening up the furnace, and he's going to pre-wire it into the furnace controls. So whenever the blower is on of the furnace, whenever the blower comes on, it will actually power up the humidifier. So now he's pulling wiring up and over, dropping it down into the furnace, doing a nice, neat job. Going to detail things up nicely. So now what he's fitting up is a 6-inch round pipe. This is the bypass pipe. So what it's going to do, he's bypassing the pipe. He's running the pipe over to the supply duct, And in that supply duct, there will be a positive pressure. If you think of it's blowing air, you think of the duct that we've mounted the humidifier on is a negative pressure. It's actually drawing air. So you can see on one end of the pipe we're blowing air, and the other end of the pipe we're sucking air, and so it's going to move a lot of air down through that. It draws it into the humidifier. You can see there. He's kind of working it, just kind of sizing things up and getting things cut properly. And now he's cutting into the drain of the furnace. We always run a PVC pipe whenever we install a furnace or an air conditioner. It's a good way to do it, that you really don't have the problems of drains plugging up and backing up as much when you have a nice PVC pipe rather than a hose that can kink or get bent. And you'll see he'll run that right up into the bottom of the humidifier. He's doing all of his gluing inside the box there. Kind of just a little thing, but it can be a little bit messy. You know, the cleaner is obviously purple, and the glue, you know, so if there's any dripping, this is when it's going to happen, and he keeps it in the box. As you can see, there's a lot of things to avoid. He's running his water line now over to the water heater. This particular one, he's actually installing that on the hot water line. And the reason he's doing that is we're going to be evaporating moisture inside that humidifier. And so when we introduce warm water into the humidifier rather than cold water, it's much closer to the point of evaporation when we just start running the water. So you can see he's firing the furnace air now. But in this particular one, he's running warm water, so it just kind of supercharges the performance of the humidifier. So there's that pad. I said, you know, we wanted to make sure this was level. That water panel needs to be level, because see, water is going to go in that little gray tube there that he just installed. And we want that tray to be filled evenly. We don't want water running to one end or the other end. And so it's got the filter back in. You can see the furnace is firing. You might say, now what's he doing? Well, now he's running an outdoor air sensor outside. And so it gets a little, so see, he's outside now working on the air conditioner. He's running an outside air sensor that's going to be mounted in the air conditioner cabinet, but it's actually part of the humidifier. And the reason we do that is it's now that humidistat inside is going to know what the temperature is outside. And so it's going to compensate, depending on what the temperature is outside, how much or how we're going to curtail the operation of the humidifier. Our goal is we want to put as much moisture as possible into the air, short of having too much condensation on your windows. And how much condensation you have on your windows is A, dependent on the temperature outside, and then B, what kind of windows do you have, or storm windows, or don't have. And so for everybody, it's just a little bit different as far as how much moisture we can actually put in the house. But we really don't want to damage wood-cased windows and things like that. So sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error to find exactly what setting on the humidistat works best for you in your home. But Now this humidistat is going to know what the temperature is outside. So when the temperature gets colder, it's going to know that probably the windows are colder and we need to adjust that setting. Does it automatically. Or when it warms up, it knows that, hey, we can run this humidifier a little bit more and not have a problem with condensation on windows. So see, he's now wiring it into the humidistat up there. And so that control is now going to know, A, is the blower on with the furnace, so we know we're moving air through it. It's going to know what the humidity of the air coming down that return air duct. It's sensing the air being pulled out of the house, and it knows what the temperature is outside, so it will adjust itself to match those parameters here. So. And then, of course, no job is finished until you've cleaned up and left things cleaner than when I got there. So he's wiping things down. There, he's explained to the homeowner how this is going to work.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and check out our next one right here.